Exercise 1, in the beginning, or the in-breath. If we can acquire a manner of taking a full, low inhalation with the minimum of tension, then our singing, which lives on the out-breath, stands the best chance of following suit. The first exercise is called in the beginning, and it's really just the in-breath. So we're going to look at how we might take that in-breath. I think on the CD that I suggested you do this exercise firstly on the floor if you're having trouble letting go of some tensions, so you can lie on your back with a pillow or some books under your head, knees bent. It might next be easier in a good chair, so a chair that supports your back, so again you're more likely to let go of your abdominal muscles if you're holding them quite tight. I'm going to look at it standing. So I want to look at posture or alignment and what's recommended, and then you can look at it for yourself and notice the benefits of it if you find that to be the case. Mostly people seem to stand with an excessive curve here in the small of the back, maybe because of all this weight of the upper body goes into the lower body via the spine there. There's not much support going on with the muscles here. So what we want to do is see if we can flatten that a little. Don't know if you can see that. So if we're in that state, we want to flatten, lengthen the back as it were. Pilates says, drop your tail to the floor. In doing so, try not to think down, but drop and lengthen. That's good. Alexander says, lengthen along the back, lengthen the spine, head, neck, back relationship, think up along the spine. So that gives us, if you like, a slight lifting there, which also flattens this area here. People tend to get a little bit lazy here, to allow themselves to slouch forward. So then their neck's going at an angle like this, and they're looking at the ground, so then they contract these muscles here to straighten that up. So likewise with this idea of the string, which Alexander has up along the spine, we're going to lengthen that there. So we're going to go from this, see if we can lengthen that, and then it follows all the way through to your standing. It feels quite light. I think it's a good idea to get a feeling of the overall sensation, so that you're not busy trying to alter various bits of your body, but you can just feel that lengthening up the spine, a kind of lightness. You feel that there's space here. You feel there's space here. Space in the neck. The reason for that with our breathing is that if we're going to do it the way nature intended and the way it's recommended, this area here has to be able to move. What happens is the diaphragm, which is across here underneath the lungs, flattens, pushes whatever's underneath it, your abdominal content, out of the way. And that's what this distension here is. It's the diaphragm pushing it out of the way. You'll notice if you're standing well and not cramping this area here, that there's a bit of movement here too. Maybe, I don't know if you can see that. So it's only a small movement, but if you get this movement all the way around, it means you can take more air in because the diaphragm can flatten further. Also, on the way out, the out-breath, which we're not on this exercise, actually we're not going to be an active out-breath, but on an active out-breath when it comes to singing, all those muscles can work to give you your energy to drive the air out, because it's the abdominal muscles and the intercostal muscles that cause the air to come out. So you don't actually sing from the diaphragm because the diaphragm has done its work on the in-breath. A muscle works in one direction. If this is a diaphragm, it works that way. This muscle is no use for this way. I need opposing muscle to do that. So the diaphragm is attached, this dome here, is attached to the lower ribs on either side. And as it flattens, those ribs swing out a little as well. So I don't know if you can see that. balance here. So we have a beautifully synchronized and relaxed motion, if you like. Diaphragm flattens, pushes your abdominal content out of the way, all the way around it spreads, right down to pelvic floor, and the ribs swing out, and the ribs attached up into the back here, and then the reverse on the way out. So it's quite synchronized. What we're aiming to avoid, if possible, is to get much in the way of movement up here. Now, if you are tight here, a lot of people hold this without knowing it. I've seen this a lot. You're going to have to look quite carefully. It's why being on the floor might be a good place to start, so you can really internally look and think, am I holding? People don't seem not to like having a curve here, or there's a sort of chest up, stomach in, still persisting from back in the day. So what happens then, if you're holding your stomach, and the muscles around here, the diaphragm wants to flatten and push your abdominal content out of the way, and it won't move, it can't go anywhere. So instead, we go up into the chest. I have an image for you, is that if the diaphragm, instead of doing this, flattening, pushing your abdominal content out of the way, if you like, it can't do that, so it comes up. Another image I have, if you take a bicycle pump, you can pull the handle of the pump down, or you can lift the barrel of the pump up. Either way, you get air into the lungs. One of them is a little is clumsier than the other. I'm going to do a video later on specifically on breathing and the various ways of breathing and their benefits, or for what the kinds of music for which they may be suitable. But for now, we're just going to concentrate, see if we can get this in-breath, and if it can be as low as you can manage for now. So it's very simple then. Diaphragm flattens, abdominal content is pushed out of the way, air is drawn into the lungs. Then we simply let it go. So if I were to take a jug of water, I've got the water, I tip the water out. I'm not involved in the flow of the water. So that's what I want you to think here. You're not involved in the out-breath. The natural elasticity of the body will take care of it. If you left your body after you'd taken an in-breath, the air wouldn't stay in there, it would come back out. Be careful not to kick. That's being involved. Careful not to control. That's being involved.